from me. But the point here is this oversubscription. You can still, for members of parliament who are new, you can still be an ex-official member in a committee. I used to be in government assurances, but when there is a matter in another committee, I could go. So the law allows you to go in another committee, so don't feel overpressed. But Government Chief Whip, what do you have to say about that?
Mr. Speaker, before the Government Chief Whip.
Okay, before Government Chief Whip. We don't want to spend much time on this. We are going to take a maximum of 3 hours.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I want to request Parliament, and especially the department that keeps records, because when members of Parliament come, they share their CVs. Then these CVs should be shared with the different party whips, so that the party whips realize and know the competencies of the different members. But when the designation of committees are done without sharing the competencies of a member, of course the whips are also not like God, to know that this one has experience in this area. Some of us, when you come, so it is very important. I want to request your office to direct the records department to send the CVs to the different party whips, so that the party whip has information. Honorable members, you'll bear with me when you look at the forms that we use when we are applying for committees. Certain forms are very shallow. They don't provide for all the areas that you're supposed to write about and to show your competences and your strengths. I think if this is corrected and the whip is willing to work with the different teams that are available at Parliament and
maybe information
directive, I take the information. You give me the information.
Yes, thank you very much, my colleague. My name is Amanya Cohen, member of Igara West constituency. I want to inform my colleague that when we apply, we attached our CVs, so the chief whip and all the government officials, they have our CVs. So the excuse of not having CVs cannot arise. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for that information. If members attach their CVs now, I can hand over.
Honorable Oshabe.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I can understand your desire to have all committees equal.
They can't.
But Right Honorable Speaker, we must appreciate that some committees are more busier than others.
Depends.
I was looking at our work plan, Right Honorable Speaker. For us to achieve 50% of the workload, we must be able to use all the days, Right Honorable Speaker. Yet I looked through what you shared on the distribution of resources, and it is equal through. I don't know how, whether equity and the equality principles
Honorable
can, yes.
Chair Park, I think actually I'm meant to be informed that the clerk has already shared the details with all committee chairpersons. So the rest, their committees like Park, we need them to dispose of a few things. We have to do the first things first. So don't let me administer matters of administration. We should go to the clerk. Well, you know very well I'm the speaker.
I have told some.
Yeah, your concerns are known. So let's go to the next item. Government Chief Whip, the one holding the fort, please respond. And then we go to the next item.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. Just to let you know, Mr. Speaker, that we have arranged a harmonization meeting next week to look at issues of oversubscription of committees and also the other issues that have been raised regarding professionals and all that. But also to let you know, Mr. Speaker, that we take note that the committee is comprised of 40 members. So there are committees where you have people interested, there are like 100 of them. But also regarding professionals, take an example of the budget committee. We need all professionals. You need an engineer on the budget committee, you need a social worker, you need everybody on the budget committee. I want to let you know, Mr. Speaker, that when I came in 2006, I'm a chartered accountant, but I was put on the committee of ICT. And in the beginning, I didn't feel well, but when I went on the committee, I discovered that actually I can make a greater contribution than in a committee where I have the profession. And you as a lawyer, you have made a contribution on different committees. So to really talk about expectations of members, even if you are not put on a committee which you want, know that there is a space on all committees you can attend. Only you can't afford vote, but you can attend any committee at any time. But also it will be your opportunity to make a contribution, even in the field where you are not qualified. And as I said yesterday, Mr. Speaker, a committee of sessional committees takes 1 year, and a committee of standing committee 2.5 years. So even if you are not catered for during this time, please note that we shall take care of you as we move forward.
Thank you. Next item.
Mr. Speaker.
Next item.
Item statements by ministers on 1, the update on Ebola disease outbreak in Uganda.
All matters of national importance will wait at the Prime Minister's time. I made the guidance yesterday. Honorable Minister, you have 10 minutes to dispose of your paper.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I hope my paper has been uploaded on the system because I submitted it in time. And given that you have given me 10 minutes, I will speak to the statement without reading it verbatim in the interest of time. This is a statement on the status of the Bundibujo Ebola virus disease outbreak presented to the Parliament of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I rise to provide Parliament and the people of Uganda with an update on the Bundibujo Ebola virus disease outbreak, which the Ministry of Health declared on the 15th of May, 2026. And this statement covers the current epidemiological situation, the government's multi-sector response, key partnerships, ongoing risks, and the strategic priorities guiding our actions as we work to bring this outbreak to a complete end. I want to begin by assuring the August House and all Ugandans that the government of Uganda has responded to this outbreak with speed, transparency, and determination. We have mobilized our national systems, activated international partnerships, and maintained open communication with the public at every stage. And the outcomes achieved to date are a direct result of these efforts. Let me briefly tell you about what Bundibujo Ebola virus is, especially the people of Bundibujo, because there is a misunderstanding when we say Bundibujo virus. Some people think there is an outbreak in the Bundibujo district. Now, Ebola is what we call a zoonotic disease. Zoonotic disease means the disease-causing organism ordinarily resides in an animal, but it can cross over to a human being and cause the disease. So those diseases are called zoonoses. By the time we finish this parliament, you will be up to date with the medical issues. So that means that the Ebola virus, which causes Ebola disease, the reservoir
is in animals. And the bat, the fruit bat, is the one which usually harbors this virus. But also it thrives in primates, non-human primates, and some other animals. So when it crosses over to human beings, it causes disease. Now, the first case of Ebola was identified in 1976. There was a simultaneous outbreak in DRC and Sudan, the current South Sudan. And Ebola is the name of a river which is in the DRC. So it derives its name from the Ebola River because the first outbreak was in a community around River Ebola in Congo. I am paraphrasing my statement, I will not read verbatim. Now, so the first outbreak was in Congo, Zaire then. So that strain of the virus was called Ebola Zaire. So there is a strain called Ebola Zaire. Then the strain which was in Sudan was different. It was called Ebola Sudan. Now in 2007, 2008, we had an outbreak in the Bundibujo district, Western Uganda. And when the scientists checked the virus, the strain was different from the previous ones. So it was named Ebola Bundibujo. Are you following, class? So Ebola Bundibujo, Ebola Bundibujo refers to that strain of the virus which first hit us in Bundibujo and was different from the previous strains. There are 6 strains. Strain means a subtype, a different type. There are 6 strains of Ebola virus. But the ones of public health importance are those 3, Ebola Zaire, Ebola Sudan, and Ebola Bundibujo. There is another one called the Thai forest Ebola virus. It was first identified in Ivory Coast, I think 1989. There's another one called the Reston virus, but it doesn't cause disease in human beings. There's another one called the Bombali virus, which was identified in Sierra Leone. But those last 3 are not very much of public health importance because they are not associated with human infections. So I just wanted to give you that background for us to understand. So the people of Bundibujo, because I have received complaints that we should change the name because it creates stigma for the people of Bundibujo. But that's how the international scientific community named it, because it was first isolated in the Bundibujo, which is in Western Uganda. I can also add that since 1976, we have had about 40 outbreaks and flare-ups in the last 50 years. And I would speak to the importance of that. Congo, DRC, they are now witnessing the 17th outbreak. Here in Uganda, we are witnessing the 9th outbreak of Ebola. The first one was in 2000, which ravaged northern Uganda. You recall when we lost one of our prominent doctors, Dr. Lukwago. That was the first outbreak of Ebola in 2000. Since then, we have had several outbreaks and flare-ups, and this is the 9th. Let me give you the statistics. As 15th of May, no, before that, on the 10th of May, a Congolese national came into Uganda, and he was sick, and he was admitted at Kivumbi Hospital. Little did the health workers know that this was a case of Ebola disease. And he died on the 14th, 4 days later. When he died, the health workers were suspicious. They took samples from him, and on the 15th of May, they confirmed this was a case of Ebola. And that's why the Ministry of Health announced that there is an outbreak of Ebola after confirming the death of that Congolese. His body was returned and buried in DRC. So since then, this is what has happened. As of today, we have registered 20 confirmed cases. Those are cases that have tested positive for Ebola disease. And all of them, it is this very strain of Ebola individual. Of the 20, 15 are Congolese nationals who came into Uganda seeking medical care. So you can say the outbreak we've been managing is an imported outbreak because the epicenter where it originated is in Congo. And now it came to Uganda because the Congolese were coming for medical care in Uganda. So over the 20, 15 were Congolese nationals who crossed over to Uganda. Now, especially the first case, because the health workers didn't know it was Ebola, 4 of our health workers got infected. And then, so those are 15 plus 4, those are 19. Then 1 was a driver who transported one of the Congolese when he was coming. That is the 20. Now, of the 20, 2 unfortunately died. They were Congolese nationals. And when they died, their bodies were taken back to Congo for safe and dignified burial. That leaves a balance of 18. Now, the 18, they have been managed in our Ebola treatment unit in Mwanga, and I am happy to say that this morning, I presided over a function where we discharged the last patient. So all those who tested positive for Ebola, 2 died, then the rest have been treated successfully, and they have been discharged. The last one, who was a Congolese national, was discharged this morning. So as of now, we have 0 cases in the country. So like I have said, the case fatality rate means of those whom you tested positive, how many have died. We lost only 2, which translates to 10%. And for this strain of the virus, the case fatality rate usually ranges from 25 to 36%. That means we have done very well. We have not lost many of our patients. The other strains like Ebola Zaire is extremely virulent. It can kill up to 90% of those who test positive. But this one is a little less mild, but it can kill up to 25 to 36%. But this is an average. If it finds when you don't have a strong system in the country, it can also kill up to 90% or even beyond. So the fact that we've been able to have a low case fatality rate means our response system has been fairly effective. And even those who died, yes, you can clap for that. Even those who died, they died because they presented late. And in the last 21 days, we have not registered any positive case. And in the management of Ebola, when a patient tests positive, then you trace back and get to the contacts. Anybody who has been in contact with that patient in the last 21 days, you round him up, or you bring him to isolation. And we did this. And through that system, we were able to identify 836 contacts who were in touch with these 20 cases that tested positive. We put them under isolation. They completed the 21 days. None of them developed symptoms. None of them tested positive, and they have all been discharged. And that is a very important element in managing Ebola disease. Now, compare these results with what is happening across among our sisters and brothers in the DRC. I spoke to the officials. As of today, the 16th of July, they have 2,011 Congolese who have tested positive for Ebola. And they have lost 754 individuals due to Ebola. So in Congo, I was there a few days ago in Bunya, leading a team of Ministry of Health and WHO. I am very safe. I am very safe, Right Honorable Speaker. What we see in Congo is that the outbreak, the Ebola disease outbreak, is outpacing the response. Because despite the efforts there, it is increasing rapidly. It began in Ituri province, but there have been reported cases in North Kivu, South Kivu, and I think this morning I got a report, there are 2 more provinces where there are reported cases of positive identification of Ebola. So there, things are not as good as they are here. Now, without going into the details, I'm sure when you access the report on your iPads, you'll be able to read the details, but I can safely say we have done fairly well, courtesy of the experience we have gathered over the years, because the past...
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The small clarification I want to raise, whereas I want to thank the ministry so much for the work that you have done and how you have managed the disease. The clarification I want you, before you conclude, to raise, and that's why I came, is the issue of announcing that we have Ebola. Because when this disease comes and you're managing it very well, why does the information come out very fast that there is Ebola in Uganda, and when we travel, there is a ban everywhere? People start looking at you with scorn that you have Ebola. I want you to handle that particular matter when you are discussing, as you're concluding your statement, that particular area of announcing, and the Minister of Health announcing that there is Ebola in Uganda. Honorable members, this is a very important matter.
Honorable Minister, do you want to conclude? Do you really want to conclude?
The Right Honorable Speaker is...
If you don't want to conclude, you will be giving other people to clarify. But okay, you are the most clarified minister from Ministry of Health. I would think so. You are also the most...
So thank you very much.
The most informed Minister of Health. So inform the House and resume your seat, and we get the opposition to also summarize in 3 minutes, and then we see whether there are some lessons we can take from that. These are... okay.
Thank you very much. In the health sector, we operate a policy of openness. And the World Health Organization international standards require us to make a notification when we get these rare diseases, like viral hemorrhagic fevers, like Ebola. So, professionally, it is not acceptable that you get this kind of illness and you keep quiet, because keeping quiet might result in other people getting infected. And that has been the policy in Uganda. You recall, Right Honorable Speaker, that even in the 80s, when countries were fearing to say they have HIV and AIDS, President Yoweri Museveni authorized the then Minister of Health, Dr. Rakana Rugunda, to go to Geneva at the WHO Assembly and announced that Uganda has a big problem of HIV and AIDS. And other countries were laughing at us. How do you tell the world that you have this problem? But because of that openness, we were able to contain HIV and AIDS, and we are one of the countries that is on record for having successfully handled. But probably the advice you are giving is that while we should not hide information, but we should communicate in a manner that does not result in injuring our national economy and interests. Right Honorable Speaker, let me just explain one point, then I sit. Discharging the last patient does not mean that the country is Ebola disease free. The World Health Organization standards and recommendations is that when you discharge the last patient, then you start on a countdown. The incubation period of Ebola is 21 days, is up to 21 days. So we count 2 cycles of the incubation period. So we shall count starting today. If we don't register any positive case, then Uganda will be declared Ebola free. What we have done, Right Honorable Speaker, is that our president talked to the president of DRC, and the 2 heads of state agreed that we handle this outbreak jointly at the 2 governments. And the 2 ministers of state signed an MOU. I signed on behalf of the government of Uganda, and my counterpart, Minister of Public Health in Congo, signed and agreed on a number of interventions to jointly pursue. One of them, which we agreed on, it's very important I inform Parliament, is that this is an imported outbreak. It came into Uganda because Congolese were coming to Uganda for better medical care. So we agreed that the government of Uganda will support the Congolese government by establishing Ebola treatment centers on the other side of Congo. And the president authorized us to open up to 4 centers. We have so far opened one in Aru. Aru is the area which oversees West Nile. We have also opened one in Kasenyi, across in Toroko, Lake Albert, but we have also deployed experts in Bunya and Guampara, which is in the center of Ituri. So we have sent over 50 specialist health workers in Uganda to support our counterparts in Congo, and also agreed on joint surveillance, joint monitoring, sharing information. We have established a laboratory in Arua and Bwera and Kasese. Some of the samples from Congo are brought to our laboratories, but also we have Uganda Virus Research Institute and another one in Wandegeya. So we have joint collaborative activities. So although we now register 0 case in Uganda, but the collaborative interventions continue, and we shall work with Congo until they register the last
Thank
case.
you, Right Honorable Speaker. Could you please resume your seat first? The procedure issue I'm raising, Mr. Speaker,
I know that
is about what the rules require of the minister.
Let me also raise the procedure issue.
Most obliged.
I know that you're a commissioner, parliamentary commissioner, but you don't have authority to ask anybody to resume seats.
That one I withdraw with apology, Right Honorable Speaker. But what I'm raising, sorry for the interruption, is that the minister is in absolute defiance of the rules. They require him, he has a very good statement, but he has hardly taken us through the statement. He's actually submitting off the cuff. Actually has degenerated into a lecture. So is it procedurally right, Mr. Speaker, for the minister to be in breach of the rules that require him to read the statement verbatim?
Yes, is proceeding well, because at the beginning, it was the guidance of the chair that he summarizes on the assumption that members have them already in the iPad. So we sit down, relax, and enjoy the lecture. Yeah, but we expected him to just summarize because members have it already in the iPad.
Yes.
And then, yeah.
So
we should learn to read these things, not to wait and read together with the presenter.
So thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, and Honorable Nambeshe, to quickly forget the rules, because you can summarize and speak to your presentation, because if I had read verbatim, I would probably take a little bit longer and maybe take Parliament's time. So in conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker, No, that one I decline with respect.
No, there's something very important, clarification.
No. The rules say.
Honorable Minister.
You see, when you ask clarification, I look at the speaker, whether there is pressure of time.
The Honorable Dr. Gilbert Olanya, I know you recently got a PhD. Let the PhD on medicine talk. For you on PhD on education management and other things. Yeah. The temptation of two lecturers talking to us here.
So, Right Honorable Speaker, just allow me to make two brief points, then I sit.
Don't provoke. Here there are so many lecturers. Yeah. Please, Honorable Minister, don't water down your very good, well-thought statement. Honorable Gilbert, you will speak. But I know, Honorable Gilbert, for information of members, we joined this parliament together, but he took his time and he went to school and he studied proper PhD, not this other PhD. So if this parliament has never congratulated you, I now want to do so. Yes. Yeah. He graduated properly. Yeah. So they are matching. So his mind tickles when another PhD holder is speaking. His mind, I can imagine. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. But also to assure the Honorable Nambeshe that what I am speaking is extracted from the statement. I'm not reading something different from the statement. I'm just summarizing and paraphrasing. But lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, the communities along the border, DRC-Uganda border, we intensified the campaign and lots of interventions, which included closing markets, disallowing big assemblies of people. I have, for instance, received a petition from the bar owners in Arua and West Nile regarding the disruption of their business. Given the progress we have registered, we shall keep our borders with the DRC closed, but the National Task Force chaired by Excellency the Vice President will see how to flexibly allow people to return to normal situation. Number two, so we are handling those issues, especially on the border points. Number two, it's also very important, Right Honorable Speaker, that what bothers Ugandans today are the travel restrictions and bans imposed by some countries, disallowing their citizens traveling to Uganda, but also making it difficult for people in Uganda to travel to their countries. Like I said, this is my last point. Just hold on, let me allow you after I made the point. Right Honorable Speaker, like I said, this Ebola disease was first identified in 1976. That means today it is 50 years old. 50 years old. We have had up to around 40 outbreaks in Africa, in Congo, in Uganda, South Sudan, West Africa. But the reported cases of Ebola that have been exported outside Africa are less than 30 in 50 years. After to be exactly 29, including the recent case in France. So that means that Ebola, given its transmission dynamics, does not easily get exported outside. And even those 29 cases are mainly doctors and health workers who have been training.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I appreciate the statement by the Minister. Right Honorable Speaker, according to your order paper, the Minister was allocated 10 minutes to present the statement. Is he really proceeding well to exceed the 10 minutes without due permission from your authority and turning the statement into a lecture and Parliament into a lecture? Is it procedurally right?
Honorable Minister, you've been informed that you've run out of time. So you conclude. Those who are timing are the ones who are not proceeding well.
So why I was raising that point, Mr. Speaker, is that we are engaging the international community, especially the over 20 countries which have put those restrictions, that those decisions are not backed by science, because those decisions are hurting the economy, and Parliament should know. So we are engaging these countries, given the progress we have registered, with a view that they open up so that our economy doesn't get affected. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to ask the Shadow Minister of Health.
Speaker, just related to the last statement that he has made, travelers coming from Uganda to countries like USA, Canada, and Bahamas are being subjected to mandatory quarantine. And now, what do you advise of other travelers who are likely to come from Uganda, travel to other countries? Because you have just told us you have given a window period of 42 days from now to declare Uganda a free Ebola country. On the opposite bank. 42 days, yes.
Honorable Minister, briefly, then since we are debating this as we presenting, so you will agree with me.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and honorable member. Now, DRC, other than Uganda, is the only country with the outbreak. So if you enter Uganda and you have been in the DRC in the last 21 days, we quarantine you for 21 days, including the health workers who are there. When they get like leave and come back, we put them in isolation until when they complete. But if you are from the US, Kenya, anywhere else where there is no Ebola, there is no need for isolating you.
What is the order about, Honorable Namboze?
Right, Honorable Speaker. The minister has just told this House that he has just returned from DRC. And he has told us that it is a policy that the people who travel from Congo to Uganda are quarantined. Is in order to expose this House to Ebola by running out of the quarantine to come here. And in that spirit, as you rule right, Honorable Speaker, isn't it proper that he also tells us how to deal with people who come from Congo, the Congolese who come to Uganda, and Ugandans like him who come from Congo? How should we treat them? I request that you rule on that. Is he in order to be here when he should be in the quarantine, as he has told this House?
Honorable Minister, before I rule, tell us when you escaped from the quarantine, so that we can calculate whether you're on breach.
The reason why we quarantine somebody who has come from Congo is largely because we are not sure the kind of exposure you had when you were in Congo. Because you just arrived at the airport, say, where have you been in the last 21 days? You indicate I've been in Congo. In my case, the Minister of Health is sure that when I went to Congo, I was not in contact with any person who would pose a risk. Yes. Yes. Yeah, we are sure. The Minister of Health is sure that when I was in Congo, I never got exposed to the risk of Ebola. So that's why, so don't get worried. So nobody in this house,
thank you,
and even those who have met me in the last 21 days should not be worried about me being a risky person in terms of...
Thank you, that is clear. Shadow Minister of Health, 3 minutes. Those who are timing, please. I thought I had your cooperation. I didn't know that you feared Ebola so much.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And unlike the Minister, I will not subject this House to a lecture.
However, I'll give a report of what it is, the reality of what it is. So, Right Honorable Speaker, while we join all Ugandans in thanking our dedicated frontline health workers who contain the clinical spread of this virus to just 20 cases, we must separate medical containment from administrative incompetence. The Ministry of Health may have managed the surveillance and clinical isolation very well, but its catastrophic failure in managing outbreak information has caused self-inflicted economic devastation that will take our country years back to recover from. This is the reality of the numbers, Right Honorable Speaker. There was no community spread. There was absolutely zero community transmission within the boundaries of Uganda. Looking at the anatomy of these 20 confirmed cases, the majority are DRC imports. Out of the 20 total cases, 15 were imported directly from the severe epidemic in the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. Then the remaining 5 cases were strictly secondary transmissions limited to medical frontline, like you told us here, frontline workers, and immediate family caregivers who were already under close monitoring. Right Honorable Speaker, this is and was not a Ugandan outbreak. It was a spillover from Democratic Republic of Congo. Yet because the ministry lacked a backbone of clarity in public communication, the world was allowed to believe that Ebola was tearing through our communities. They actually gave it a Ugandan face. So this is the cost of no clarity in communication, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, because the ministry has chosen an alarmist, uncoordinated approach to data dissemination, our premium of $1.7 billion US dollars of tourism sector was left exposed to international panic. The massive cancellation, Right Honorable Speaker, the ministry allowed international markets to believe the entire country was a hot zone. This triggered immediate booking cancellations during our peak May to September safari season. Then there's the liquidity crisis for local operators. Instead, this liquidity crisis for local operators terrified international clients, and this demanded immediate cash refunds, pushing local tourist operators to the brink of bankruptcy. And then the Namugongo wipeout. The Namugongo wipeout alone wiped out an estimate of 30 billion to 44 billion in domestic and regional trade. And this really, this hurt the local vendors and the transporters and the hospitality sector. Right Honorable Speaker, the halting of our progress. Uganda entered 2026 celebrating a 19.7 growth in tourist arrivals. However, the ministry's unfocused communication single-handedly crushed this upward trajectory. Then the diplomatic disgrace, like my fellow colleague had stated here. There's humiliation of Ugandan travelers. The Dubai visa ban. The United Arab Emirates.
Thank you. Can I have Dr. 1 minute due to public demand from... Okay. Then we shall have
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
The Chair of Health. You get ready. You will have...
Yeah, so there is the issue of the Dubai visa ban, the issue of the airport humiliation. Ugandans are being subjected to mandatory invasive secondary blood testing at airports. That's like in China and Dubai. Then there is the guilt of association, of course. While international health bodies lazily bundled Ugandans' single-digit data within massive 1,400 plus cases epidemic in DRC, the lack of data defense allowed foreign embassies to slap a blanket travel ban to Ugandans. Right Honorable Speaker, we propose these urgent reforms: an establishment of a joint interministerial crisis Communications Task Force, which should comprise the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Tourism, and the Uganda Tourism Board. We also request for unenforced aggressive data separation. The ministry must separate Ugandan tracking dashboards from neighboring countries. Then we also request for a proactive aviation and border diplomacy. And then a hyper-local non-alarmist reporting. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker, transparency is a legal obligation under international health regulations, but reckless communication is a choice. The Ministry of Health chose a path that protected their data charts, but destroyed Ugandan businesses and humiliated our citizens. We pray, therefore, for a formal, aggressive diplomatic push to lift the Dubai visa ban and airport blood tests in China. I beg to submit.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable.
From the applause, Dr. Bariomus, you have somebody I heard saying that Akubienyo, I don't know what it means. Doctor, Chair Health.
Yes, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. This being my first time to hold the mic, allow me to congratulate you upon your election as Speaker of the 12th Parliament. Honorable members, I'm Julius Mande, Member of Parliament of Bukonzo County East, and by the grace of God, Chair Health Committee. But importantly, I rise as someone with experience, having treated the first cases of Ebola Bundibujo, while I practiced as a health worker in 2007 in Chicho in Bundibujo. And additionally, with experience working with the World Health Organization for the past 14 years. Now, I have to say, colleagues, we need to appreciate the Honorable Minister of Health for a comprehensive statement about the current trend of the disease that we are facing now, which is Ebola, that is highly transmissible, and also the success so far registered. It's also important to appreciate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for his strategic guidance and leadership during disease outbreaks and health emergencies. You remember, he has always come on board and given guidance to the nation. And also thank Ugandans for heeding the advice. But importantly, Honorable Speaker, as I move towards winding up, Minister of Health has demonstrated superiority in mounting an effective and quality outbreak response, again, where a disease outbreak like Ebola is only confined to known contacts. Now, while the risk continues because of...
Honorable Fungaro, you border Congo. And then I will ask Honorable Edison Rugumayo, please sit down. Let these border people say something. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I am glad that the Minister of Health has been able to come here to brief us. Much as members are fearing the issue of somebody who has gone to a country where there's this problem coming to Parliament, it is necessary for us to be briefed so that we can also brief others to remain safe. As chairman of the West Nile Parliamentary Caucus, therefore, I would like to thank three categories of people. Number one, the government of Uganda. For the reason that the government of Uganda took action first within Uganda and also took the initiative to put a treatment center in DRC, particularly in Aru, the sister city of Arua. We people of West Nile are transborder people. Even if we don't have Ebola here in Uganda, even if we don't die here in Uganda, if Ebola remains in Congo, we are bound to go for burial in Congo. Because the Lukwago are in Congo, they are in Uganda. The Kakwa are in Congo, they are in Uganda. The on
there comes a time when this August House must stand united in expressing profound gratitude to government. I believe this is the day. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the government of Uganda through Minister of Health for their very decisive, swift, and very effective solution, which has helped us It is at this point, Right Honourable Speaker, that I want to request empathy and provide subsistence support to some of my communities in Itoroko. Right Honourable Speaker, we have 6 sub-counties in Itoroko whose communities don't indulge in
districts. Firstly, I appreciate government through the Ministry of Health for the quick intervention at the border of Kasese in Mpondwe, Lubiriha Town Council. Right Honorable Speaker, the porous border of 60 kilometers, all the markets are closed. They had said it would take 3 weeks, but it's now beyond 2 weeks. The people, especially the women, 70% that work in those markets now do not have daily income. I therefore request through you that the OPM, Minister of the Prime Minister, should really intervene in this disaster by giving something to our people that can salvage hunger. The business export zone, the whole area is closed. And I request through the Minister of Disaster Preparedness, also the Minister of Health, I thank you very much, and also thank the security team in the district of Kasese, headed by the RDC, Joe Walusimbi, for the quick intervention into this matter. Thank you very much.
Honorable Dr. Gilbert Olanya, I know you border another country, but you are insisting on speaking. Amuru is at the border.
Yes. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, we border South Sudan. We are also at the border. Right Honourable Speaker, there is something very important I would like the Minister to clarify. Aware that many schools stopped parents from visiting their children in schools because of Ebola. I am happy that you stated clearly that the last cases of Ebola was discharged. And I would like you to clarify to the nation whether parents are now free to visit their children from schools. And finally, allow me to appreciate you, Honorable Minister, for being very active in the fight against Ebola. And this is the way to go. And I wish government is active in fighting other cases, like the way the Ministry of Health is fighting Ebola. I pray that the NRM government should not only concentrate in fighting the outbreaks. We have so many cases in this country, like corruptions, all those. Fight them actively the way you are fighting the Ebola. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
So medical Ebola is equated to corruption. Honorable Alenyo Marshall.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Alenyo Marshall, Godfrey from Pakwach. Honorable Speaker, I represent the Jonam people who border Congo at Dei sub-county, which is the most upper part of the Jonam County. The people of Pakwach have suffered a lot during this Ebola virus. First of all, like most of the border districts, the schools were closed, markets closed, churches closed, the police has tear gassed people from all those public venues. Now I join my sister from Kasese in demanding that as quick as next week, Jonam suffers drought, they don't have their land, there is a lot of problems. Let them help our people and send relief aid, particularly to those areas bordering Congo, like Dei sub-county. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I think let's agree that Honorable Mapendozi, is Gulu at any border? But he could be telling us he was in DRC. Let him be the last on this matter and we move on. But what is important that the leaders from those areas, they need to be met as government so that the cases were in Kampala, but Honorable Mapendozi, please.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, for those who know, in 2000, when we had the Ebola outbreak, over 200 people died in Gulo. And so when I speak from that very informed point of view, having had that terrible experience. Honorable Speaker, I would like to very sincerely thank the Minister of Health. Much as some people think that how they communicated could have affected the economy, Right Honorable Speaker, you may have a vibrant economy, but it is more important to save lives before we even talk about generating more money. If the Ministry of Health had not acted the manner they've acted, by now the story would have been different. And so we need to appreciate, and that would help to encourage the Ministry of Health to do more. And so mine is to commend the Ministry of Health and also encourage them to do more. Our people are in the front line. We have a duty to encourage them, to support them, and as Parliament, Right Honorable Speaker, we need to do everything possible to support the Minister of Health. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister of Health. Oh, Lope, I thought that you already did. Now this is Nakawa or what?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Firstly, I want to appreciate the Minister for his statement and to also commend the frontline health workers who have risked their lives and continue to do so as to save lives. In the past, we have seen some health workers like Dr. Matthew Lukwia and others who were fighting, pushing back against Ebola, and they succumbed. So we need to commend these health workers, and that's why many times we talk about them. We say, let's facilitate them better, medical interns, equipment, and all these different things, yeah? Because they are competent, they want to work. Sometimes we let them down. Mr. Speaker, I think that government needs to do a lot more, whether diplomatically, but to better manage our image. This week, at the start of this week, I saw an order, and it's now in the public, by the department, the US Department of Health and Human Services. They have banned entry of people from Uganda into their country for 30 days. Now, after the 30 days, they will evaluate whether to extend that order or not. There's numerous other countries, UAE. Our Muslim brothers and sisters have been telling me they're unable to go for Umrah in Saudi Arabia because they can't access. We have not managed this well because the world thinks people are dropping dead of Ebola in Uganda every day, and yet it's not true. So as the health workers are doing their best, we need to do our best as well, because we are in a precarious situation and it is affecting us. A travel advisory has also been issued by the US for, among other reasons, health. Of course, there's crime, terrorism, and all these different things. And I've seen a disjointedness between government departments. So you'll find there are some who are fighting and they're saying, people, no, the situation is not as bad here in Uganda. And then they don't seem to get support from other departments. So the government departments need to talk to each other. That's why we're having all these challenges. But finally, Mr. Speaker, while there's a few government departments that are trying to make sure the image doesn't look as bad, again, there are others who I just don't understand. What government does sometimes is it being deleterious to itself. What do I mean? You make us look bad sometimes, some of you people in government. Mr. Speaker, the world reads reports about Uganda. A media house closed, NTV, for now 3 weeks. You know, because we don't seem to be bothered about media and press freedom. That hurts our country. NGOs have been closed, suspended, and so on. Every day we are here on the microphone asking, where is this person? Yesterday we were here talking about the Honorable Muhammad Mwanga Kivumbi. I'm yet to get a report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yesterday you ordered that we do get a report and the family gets to access him. That has not happened yet, and several other people. These things make us look bad. That's the reality. So as we are striving to work on our image as a country, let's sort out these issues.
Honorable, I think the time is done. You want to put him on order or what?
Right. Yes, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker.
He has exited the floor.
Okay. Yeah.
He has complied to your order. Honorable Bariomusi, 2 minutes to wrap up. You had an attack, but then you had some army that rescued you from the...
Yes, thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker and members. And I want to thank the honourable members for the comments that you have made. Our primary responsibility as a government, and the Ministry of Health in particular, is to protect Ugandans, first and foremost. It is not to please the US so that the travel advisory is good, it is to protect Ugandans first. And when an outbreak like this comes out, you are hard-pressed between the two choices, to be transparent and report the disease so that you prevent it and caution people not to get it, or to remain quiet even when there is a risk of many people contracting it. So my sister, Honorable Manio, is saying we should probably have kept quiet even if people get infected.
To use the word like reckless communication, I thought that was too below the belt. Were you reckless in your communication?
No, not at all. She should distinguish the way we have acted, and now we have 0 cases, and if we had become reckless, and we also have like 2,000 cases like we see in the DRC. So she should revise to understand the meaning of reckless. We were not reckless. We were very careful to give this information so that we can protect ourselves. And whether an outbreak is imported or it originates from here, the risks are still the same. For instance, the decision taken to postpone the celebrations in Namugongo, we discovered close to 1,000 Congolese were already on a pilgrimage coming to Namugongo. If we had allowed it, probably now we would be having a different story of having in Karamoja, in Chigezi, in West Nile, having cases. So I expected her to appreciate that we've been able to contain this outbreak. I know the measures which we have instituted as government cause disruption in public discourse, but the English say, to get an omelette, you must break the egg. You cannot enjoy an omelette unless you have broken the egg. So for us to reach where we have reached in terms of containing this outbreak, there are disruptions which have been caused by the measures. So I beg the honorable members and the public to appreciate that the intentions of government are not to hurt Ugandans, but rather to protect them. Going forward, like I said in my statement, is that we shall sit as National Task Force, chaired by Her Excellency the Vice President, and now do a review regarding the restrictions and the measures we had announced, especially in the border districts. Like the Honorable Olanya is asking whether parents are now allowed to visit schools. We are going to review all this, and I said it in the statement that now that we have established treatment centers in the Congo, we hope the Congolese nationals who are coming here for better treatment, the better treatment now is in their country, they will not be coming here, then we can now relax some of the measures. So I may not announce the relaxation here, but once we sit as a task force, we shall give a statement that it cushions our traders, our business people, our communities, and then we shall keep you.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. And the issue of the travel advisory, the visas, I said in my statement, we are engaging the governments, especially in light of the progress we have registered. So sooner or later,
your engagement should be directed to the WHO. Because the information that US, UAE are getting are from WHO. Which agency you work directly with?
Absolutely. Even this morning I had a meeting with a country representative of WHO discussing the very matters. So those are being handled, and we shall keep you updated.
I met a foreign diplomat today who told me there are people from his country, they are afraid to come here because other countries don't want to see any stamp of Uganda. So it's very serious. Yeah. Next item, please. We can't proceed when there's nothing before us. Let's first read this item. Yeah.
3.2, statement on Uganda's preparedness to co-host AFCON Pamoja 2027.
Yes, Honorable Paul Mwiro, you wanted us to proceed. That is what we are going to proceed on. What's your procedure matter?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, yesterday I once again raised the matter in respect of the fundamental human rights of our citizens in respect of Ewano Amos Rwangomani Turinawe, who filed a writ of habeas corpus, and orders were granted to the effect that they produce his body, they produce him either dead or alive. Then the Honorable Attorney General alluded the fact that despite the fact that he was a party to the suit, that he didn't have copies of the court documents. I had sent him some electronically to him and to the Minister of Internal Affairs, but I also served on him a copy of the ruling and a copy of the court order So I'm wondering, Right Honorable Speaker, whether, and there's also the question of...
When did you do the service?
It was yesterday, or electronically. Then today I added him the hard copy because I still hadn't got back to me. But
so
also
when you were handing him over the copy, you never talked?
Right Honorable Speaker, because we have, I was seeing now a tendency that human rights issues are raised in this House, and then we intend to deal with other matters. Now we are going to sports. But yet the Constitution is very clear.
Sports also a human rights matter?
Yes, but...
Let the Attorney General be on record whether you received the service, and now because you raised that you didn't know the parties, you didn't know who was served. Just be on record and make some commitments to resolving. These are small matters, but they derail us a bit.
Yeah, so the same should apply to Honorable Mwanga. Chief Minister, you gave a ruling, and I hope your ruling had been vain, and they say that they'll return to with a statement.
Yes, please, we cannot handle it this way. If we made a ruling yesterday, we create time. By the way, you people should be able, if I were you, and I know the Minister, Attorney General, and the matter has been raised here, you already have the connection. Attorney General, you don't allow members of opposition to come to your office, the lawyers. When the mandate is here, is executed elsewhere. You raise it here, we escalate the matter. The other transaction we want to get to hear report. Attorney General.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The Attorney General Chambers is open, and we have a digital system, the e-docs, so we are almost 24/7. I've not seen the document on the e-docs, but I've just been served right now, the document, and I've seen it. And I can invite him, even after this session, we can sit together and ensure that it is respected in accordance with the law.
I think that is enough. The Attorney General is willing. Somebody else told me, you see, anyway, I shouldn't be giving evidence from this side. Next item, Honorable Minister of Education. I need to learn how to be a speaker, not a debater. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members. I thank you for granting me this opportunity to appraise you on Uganda's preparedness to host.
Is the paper uploaded? We have it? Okay. Continue, sir.
Right Honourable Speaker, I thank you for granting me this opportunity to appraise you on Uganda's preparedness to co-host African Cup of Nations 2027 tournament alongside Kenya and the United Republic of Tanzania. This follows concerns raised by Honorable Kasule Ismail, the Member of Parliament from Hoima West Division, on this matter of national importance. Right Honourable Speaker and colleague, co-hosting a tournament of the magnitude and the complicity of the African Cup of Nations is not an undertaking that can be delivered by one ministry, department, agency, or sports federation acting alone. It requires a well-coordinated whole-of-government and whole-of-country approach. As guided by Cabinet, the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports has constituted an intersectoral committee to support the local organizing committee, LOC, in Uganda's preparation for AFCON 2027. Furthermore, government planning for AFCON 2027 has been guided by the number of key assumptions. This includes the fact that the tournament will be jointly hosted by Uganda, Kenya, and United Republic of Tanzania. That it will run from 19th June to 18th July 2027. That Uganda will host matches at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, Hoima City Stadium, and we have a backup stadium, which is Akibwa Olympic Stadium. And that 2 competition stadiums together with attendant training facilities must be completed by 31st December 2026. In 2024, Cabinet not only approved the government guarantees to the Confederation of African Football, but also approved a budget of 1.35 trillion towards the infrastructure, logistical, operational costs associated with the preparation for both African Nations Championship CHAN 2024 and AFCON 2027, including Uganda's obligatory commitment fees to CAF. In addition, government has approved 905 billion to meet contractual intersectoral funding and administrative requirements for AFCON 2027. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, additional commitments include following major intervention. 1, support to upgrading of selected hotels in Hoima and Masindi through a special credit facility in accordance with CAF standard. 2, upgrading priority access roads, pedestrian walkways, and street lighting around Hoima City Stadium and Mandela National Stadium. 3, construction of a passenger terminal at Kawalega Airport and operationalize the facility as an international airport. 4, upgrade of Kadiva Stadium as a training facility and support preparations for the Uganda Cranes. 5, support the local organizing committee to undertake tournament-specific preparations across its subcommittee. 7, remodeling and upgrade of Mandela National Stadium. 8, deployment and improvement of ICT infrastructure at airport, hotels, stadium training facilities, hospitals supporting the tournament. 9, upgrade of designated health facility in Hoima, Masindi, Seruka to provide intensive care, accident and emergency services. 10, strengthening sanitation and environmental hygiene services in host city, that's Hoima City and Masindi Municipal. 11, upgrade of meteorological services to support tournaments operations. 12, improvement to water supply infrastructure in Hoima City. 13, upgrade and maintenance of railway infrastructure serving Kampala, Mukono, Namamve, and Mandela, and Nambole. 14, extension of electricity infrastructure to key AFCON facilities, including Hoima City Stadium and Kabalega International Airport. 15, promoting Uganda as a destination under the AFCON brand. 16, waiver of visa fee for visitors during the tournament period. 17, pursuit of a joint Pamoja visa with Kenya and United Republic of Tanzania to ease movements of funds and guests. Right Honorable Speaker, the above mentioned intervention will be directly implemented by the government, ministries, departments, and agencies responsible. I quote that. The above mentioned intervention will be directly implemented by government, ministries, departments, and agencies responsible. The Ministry of Education and Sports, the LOC, will play a supervisory role to ensure timely implementation of activities by MDAs and conformity to the CAF standards. The detailed update on infrastructure development in the preparation for AFCON tournament is as follows. Hoima City Stadium, works for construction of the Hoima City Stadium have been completed and the defect liability period will expire in December 2026. During this period, the contractor will undertake remedial works to address comments made by CAF after their recent inspection. We expect the next inspection on 31st of August, next 2026. Mandela National Stadium. The Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Education and Sports and the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs for design and build works for expansion of Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, under Phase 2 was signed on 26 February 2026. Under this phase, we expect, among others, the following: upgrading seating capacity from 38,000 to 45,000, improvements and expansion of the VVIPs and VIP launches, improvements in the media tribune, stadium media center, press conferences rooms, mixed zones, spectators-related areas, medical areas, among others. Right Honorable Speaker, the contractor has completed design reviews and incorporated all observations raised by the Confederation of African Football. Structural integrity tests have also been successfully undertaken, confirming the project's readiness to proceed. The contractor remains scheduled to complete works within the timeline stipulated by CAF, that's 31st December 2026. Chambogo University Training Facility. Phase 2 construction works are progressing well, and the facility is expected to be completed by August. Makere University Training Facility. Construction works are ongoing. Completion is expected by August. Hoima Boma Ground. The project is on course for completion by September this year. Masindi Municipal Stadium Training Facility. Construction works are ongoing. The facility is expected to be completed by September this year. Fufa Kadiba Training Facility. The BOQs and architectural design for Kadiba are being finalized, and the site will soon be handed over to the UPDF Engineers Brigade. The scope of works include remedial works on the pitch and installation of floodlights. We envisage to complete the works by December. Why the delay? The stadium was being used by the Federation because it's a Federation facility till the end of the calendar year for football competition, which ended recently. Satito Winyi, Secondary School Training Facility. The process of acquiring land at Satito Winyi is concluded, and the Ministry of Works Transport is preparing the BOQs. Works will commence in August 2026 and will be completed in December. Why the delay? There was a complaint on the land. And as per the guidance from Attorney General, government cannot invest resources where we do not have exclusive ownership of the land. So the two parties had to be brought on board, and finally there's a consent to that effect. So now we are ready to start work. Upgrade priority access roads, pedestrian walkways, and street lighting around Hoima City Stadium and Mandela National Stadium. Government is implementing a number of strategic road projects aimed at improving access to AFCON 2027 competition and training venues, while also easing traffic flow within the host cities. The works cover Jokers, Uganda Christianity University Road, 13.2 kilometers. This road is going to be completed and worked on, and that helps us ease traffic on the main Ginger Highway. And Honorable Namboze is nodding. I think let's clap for government for that. Jokers Viogerere Road, 6.2 kilometers, Jokers Nama, 13.3 kilometers, Chireka Kamuli Nalia Road, Viogerere Buto na Mugongo Road, Chalwajara Kira Kasangati Road, and Old Ginger Road. The project also includes improvements to Kireka and Chalwajara Junction, as well as road linkages to the Northern Bypass, Suru, Agenda, and Chiwatule, as well as roads to Hoima City Stadium. Progressing well, tractors underway. 10. In Hoima and Masindi through a special credit facility in accordance with the CAF standard. In preparation for AFCON 2027, the government, in consultations with CAF, has shortlisted prospective hotel owners whose facilities will be upgraded to meet the required accommodation standard. A total of 101 billion has been earmarked to support hotel improvement works in Hoima City and Masindi. The funding will facilitate renovation works and provide interest rate support through the Uganda Development Bank for approved service providers. Regarding the proposed new hotel at Kabalega International Airport, a number of developers have expressed interest, and the evaluation of bids is scheduled to commence on Thursday this week. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, as of this morning, the Right Honorable Prime Minister chaired a meeting between the hotel owners and Uganda Development Bank to agree on the modalities regarding the timeline for the line of credit versus the position the ministry and the bank have given, Ministry of Finance and the bank has given. I want to say the consultations are ongoing, but I'm also saying that we are cognizant of the time. Construct a passenger terminal at Kabalega Airport. This intervention is awaiting award of a contract and confirmation of financing for the outstanding funding gap to facilitate commencement of works. Government earmarked 185 billion for that project to have a terminal in Kabalega Airport in Hoima. Upgrade designated health facility in Hoima, Masindi, Seruka to provide intensive care, accident and emergency. Hoima Regional Referral Hospital construction has reached the superstructure stage. Masindi Municipal Hospital excavation works have been completed and foundation concrete works are underway. Seruka Health Center 3 walling works are progressing towards ring beam level with the roofing scheduled for completion by works. These works all are undertaken by the UPDF's Engineering Brigade. 13, upgrade and maintenance railway infrastructure servicing Kampala, Mukono, Namamve, and Nambole. Construction of a passenger boarding and drop-off station at Kampala, Nambole, Namamve, and Mukono, and refurbishment and refitting or retrofitting of locomotives to support passenger transport during AFCON. Deploy improved ICT infrastructure at airport, hotel, stadia, training facilities, and hospital supporting the tournament. Installation of the Wi-Fi and CCTV systems at Mandela National Stadium, Hoima City Stadium, Akibwa, 8 training facilities across Kampala, Hoima, Masindi, Gulu, and Lira, selected hospital, tourism sites, and Kafakret hotels in Kampala are ongoing. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to assure this House that the government remains fully committed to delivering a successful AFCON 2027. We will continue to work closely with all stakeholders to ensure that the required infrastructure, services, and support system are completed within the agreed timelines. As preparations progress, government will keep this House regularly informed on implementation progress, key milestones achieved, and any emerging issues requiring attention. Before I sum up, Right Honorable Speaker, allow me again say, Akibwa Olympic Stadium is a backup stadium, 65% as of now work done, ready to be completed by 31st December 2026. Training facilities in Akibwa, in Lira City, Lira University, Gulu University, Peche Stadium are ongoing. We intend to have a 4 nations tournament, and those countries who are ready to come to Uganda early before time to acclimatize the weather for Uganda for parts of the competitions will be able to go to Akibwa. So I want the people of northern Uganda to know that the government is fully committed to ensuring AFCON 2027 is for all of us. What I have not said is the $7.5 million for branding destination Uganda is already given to the Minister of Tourism. In a special way, let's thank the Minister of Finance who is here. Honorable Musasizi, we thank you for accepting to help the country host this competition. I thank you so much. I say all this for God and my country.
Honorable Kasule Ismail.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd like to thank the Minister for this statement, but also because my question actually I was really concerned about those non-football related infrastructure, and indeed you have highlighted many of them, like we've been reading. But also, Right Honorable Speaker, there is a very big gap between these ministries and also the Ministry of Sports and Education with the local leadership. When you go back, and it's not clear even on the roads that are going to be worked on in Hoima City, because he has brought it as a whole, but in Nambole and the Namave, he has highlighted clearly the roads that are going to be worked on. But when you look at Hoima City, it's not very clear. Last week we had a roads committee, and even the members in the roads committee, even the engineer of the city, they are not very certain about which roads are going to be worked on. The population has different information. There is a very big gap between the local organizing committee and the local leaders from Hoima City.
Honorable member, stick to your point. What you raised, was it answered?
Well, that's...
you are now raising other matters about the coordination with the local committees. We don't have that time now.
Right Honorable Speaker...
Are you satisfied with the response?
No, Right Honorable Speaker, this shows that I'm not satisfied because, one, it has not given the details. What is on ground is different, and what we are being read for here, it's also different. Because when you look, we all know that AFCON has a timeline.
Honorable member, we need you to appreciate how government works. And I need you, when a question has been raised by yourself, they are telling you that you need to resume your seat. I'm guiding so that it can help other people. You started very well. When a minister or government responds to your question, you must listen. And I think they should give you even a rest, this statement early, so that you can come here and say, I am satisfied, or this has not addressed, so that we put the minister to task. But when the minister has answered and you say, but also you have not told us about the roads in Hoima, you know, those are, please, can you answer whether this satisfies you or not?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for that guidance. Of course, back to my question, it was about the infrastructure, the non-football related infrastructure development projects that are ongoing. And in the statements of the minister, really some have been answered and some have not been answered. Like you've guided that, well, government, that's how it operates. My fear was about the time frame, because we all know, because today I had the Prime Minister also trying to emphasize that we should not allow us losing this chance of the AFCON, because the president has pledged and has promised the Ugandans. And that's why I was trying to raise this, so that we all get to know. But I thank the minister for this, and I believe that the minister will organize an interface so that we get to know more about what is being done. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Minister of Education, the local leaders, including Honorable Ismail Kasule, they are missing you. Close the gap. Where is the shadow minister for the sport? Zambal, what do you know about sports?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Zambari Blansom Kasa is my name, and I'm the Shadow Minister for Sport, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me to thank the Minister for the statement. However, it is important that these few key issues are given attention. I urge the government to prioritize the timely completion of all AFCON 2027 infrastructure and related facilities well before CAF returns for its final inspection. Uganda should not wait until the last minute to address critical gaps, as this risks unnecessary embarrassment and could undermine our credibility as a co-host nation. Completing the works ahead of the final inspection will provide sufficient time for testing, certification, rectification of any defects identified, and proper operation readiness, thereby demonstrating that Uganda is fully prepared to successfully host the tournament. Being made. Will government commit to presenting monthly progress reports to Parliament and implementation milestones so that this House can effectively exercise its oversight role. We want to make sure that the infrastructure is built services Ugandans long after AFCON. We don't want to get reports like Chogam and other reports, if you remember. Going forward, I propose that the Committee on Education and Sports, together with the Shadow Minister of Sports, who is a member of the committee, undertake monthly oversight visits to all AFCON 2027 infrastructure projects. These regular inspections identify implementation, bottlenecks where bottlenecks are, and ensure that contractors remain on schedule. I further urge that the Minister of State for Sports facilitate and support the committee in the smooth execution of its oversight mandate by ensuring timely access to project sites, relevant documentation, and technical officials whenever required. Such collaboration will enhance transparency, accountability, and value for money as Uganda prepares to co-host AFCON Pamoja 2027. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, Shadow Minister of Education, of Sports. Members, just a minute. From yesterday, about the Minister of Health brought a report. The Shadow Health did respond. Attorney General brought. The Shadow responded. See, when the government side has spoken, it represents one side. When the Shadow has also spoken, it actually represents the shadow of the government.